So, hey guys, welcome back to Fam Sports Vikings. Might not be able to tell it by looking at us, but there's actually one true Vikings fan here. Just kidding, there's two. But Devon Wagner coming on and joining the show. Devon, really happy to have you on. How you doing?
Yo, what's up, guys? It's really good to be here. Long time watcher, first time caller. Uh, I'm doing good, man. I'm really excited about everything we're doing in the offseason. We're really stacking up this team and going nuts.
We are, and that's the one thing too. Is it's one thing to like this offseason just feels so different. And we've seen it as Vikings fans. We always get our hopes up. And I mean, of course, this team does it to us. But this offseason just feels different because Devin, and you're going to allude to it later, but we finally got ourselves an offensive line, and I'm about to cry. Finally,
we did. We got Spud, the French fry guy, Will Fries, and like the third best center in the league, man.
yes. So I am absolutely stacked. And so I think there's a lot of different things we're going to cover with today's episode. So let's start by talking about, so we got to start with this A-Rod stuff. I got to be honest, dude, the more and more I hear about it, the more and more I just want to tune out and stop looking at social media for 2 days. But what's kind of your general reaction and thoughts to Aaron Rodgers joining the Vikings?
Yeah, so I think the Athletic really just blew that out of proportion. I don't think we were ever really kind of interested in maybe as a QB2. But we all know A-Rod would probably never go for that, and he probably wouldn't go to training camp, and he'd probably drive a wedge in between us and the coaches and the locker room and this and that. And not to mention, he's just kind of washed. Like, I love Aaron Rodgers. I mean, as much as I can growing up as a Vikings fan and watching him torch us for, 20 years or however long he's been in the league. But I think it might just be time to call it quits. And I think that's what he's thinking too. He's like, yo, if I can't go play in Minnesota, I'll make as much noise as I can. But if I can't go play in Minnesota, I think he might probably just retire.
I think that's the best move. And again, I definitely share the sentiment of watching this guy absolutely just pour 4 or 5 touchdowns on us a game and getting annoying time after time where it's like, must be nice having a franchise quarterback. One day that'll be us. And I think we'll get into that a little bit later. But the one thing I will say is and Diana Rossini, she is well respected around the league. I will say that, but I will also say that there comes a time as a reporter, I've been lucky enough to be in the news and everything, that you just stop. You just you bring it as an idea to the newsroom, and then you just stop talking. Just let it go.
Not our gal Diana.
No.
No. Everyone's telling her to stop, and she still won't.
She's like, so you're telling me there's a chance, and I'm just like, no, we're telling you there's no chance.
I don't know. It seems like Vikings fans are just screaming in the comment sections too. But hey, maybe she knows something we don't. Maybe she's a mystical seer or something.
Devin, I will actually write it. I'm not kidding. I will actually drive to Minnesota. I will be outside. I'll probably be the only guy with a picket sign. But I think that overall, with what we've seen from JJ McCarthy, and I know you're going to allude to this too, but I think we got one. And I'm not trying to get my hopes up too soon because we've not seen him actually play a legitimate down of football yet during a regular season game. The Raiders preseason game looked really good last year. But
looks great. Kid was slinging. The offensive line looked like crap though. It's kind of hard to tell what he can really do now. You know what I mean? We've added so many pieces. I think we've added so many pieces. We've set this kid up so much that if he doesn't do good, it's kind of his own fault. You know what I mean? I feel like any talented quarterback put in his position could really find success. And this kid's a national champion. He's got a great head on his shoulder. He's meditating before games. He doesn't let any of this press get to him. I saw the interview that he did today, and they're like, so when did they tell you were going to be QB1 after all this Aaron Rodgers stuff settled down? And he goes, they never told me. He goes, I like it. It makes me work harder every day. And I think that's probably part of the reason why we didn't say anything and squash that rumor right away. We're like, let's motivate the kid, get some sweat on his back. You know what I mean?
Yep. Oh, I love it. And he's the kind of kid that takes that stuff personally. Like it's definitely added to the fire. I will say, I saw him, I think it was either the Lions game or the Rams game on the sideline. I was a little worried because it looked like he hadn't eaten a meal in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But I will say now I've seen some pictures of him. This kid looks good.
I'll tell you one thing. It was the Lions game, and I saw a video of some Lions fans trashing our boy. They're like, you can work up your body, like some fat kid in a couch. You can work up your body when your leg's injured, right, JJ? And I saw the look on his face, bro, when we were getting torched by the Lions. I was like, oh, you guys better watch out next year. This kid's going to light you guys on fire.
Oh, yeah. He's going to put like 40 on you. I'm like,
and you saw the video today. He looks great, man. He's filling out. He's working out. He said in that interview today that he's 100%.
Yeah. So. I am so excited because, like, it's one thing to have a kid in here that's just saying all the right things, but again, between this offseason and also JJ, like it feels different. I'm gonna knock on wood here because I'm a superstitious Vikings fan, but it just feels good where the offensive line, Devin, I have been saying it for years. If they would just invest into the offensive line, and I know we kind of talked about this a little bit, but we got Will Frice, we got our Fryman, we got Ryan Kelly, who I think is going to be fantastic. The only one thing I do have to say is like the interior other guard spot, as I'm a little hung up on. I don't have a problem with having a guy come back and recompete for that like we did, but also I still feel like maybe Dalton Reisner could be an option there. Also the draft.
I think we might have let. Maybe not. Maybe I'm confused. But I feel like with the pieces we added, dude, and a couple of guys, we got Shaw coming back. We got Brian O'Neill, who's a solid player, in my opinion. With those two guys we added, I think we're looking fairly good. Maybe we bring a guy in for the draft, which is what we'll talk about that later. I have an idea for that. But yeah, I mean, at the end of last season, everyone was screaming, bro, we need a better line. We need to get rid of a couple guys, not to mention names, Bradbury Ingram. But we need to get rid of a couple guys and really strengthen up that run game and the pass block game, bro. And we also just signed Jordan Mason, who's going to add a lot of physicality to our run game, bro. The 1-2 punch with him and Aaron Jones, I think is going to be nasty with these new linemen we're bringing in. So I'm very excited, dude. The play action game, a little bit of like Lamar action with JJ and his two backs. It's going to be sick.
I think that it is like you mentioned it perfectly. It's the combination, because we see so many teams in the NFL that can run the ball like Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Like they are literally like, that's what I think we were trying to recreate in a way. Now
I'd say that's the blueprint for what we're doing here. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And it's like Aaron Jones is not Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm not going to come out and say that, but I'm saying that the way that he plays, Aaron Jones, I think, is more of in between the tackles, one cut and get going, and then Mason,
for sure,
like you said. So I'm excited about that, and I do think that just one last, I'll put the final nail in the coffin here. Aaron Rodgers is not coming to the Vikings. We're going to leave it there.
Nope.
RIP. Kind of like, and this kind of also is one of those things where when we talk about we love JJ and all trust in JJ. My only question is the backup quarterback position, because I think that is a very important. And Brett Rippon is not gonna come and play.
No, I'd say no. Brett Rippon ass. No, I'd say probably Flacco or Tannehill. I guess we just had a meeting with Tannehill, and I wouldn't mind that. Get a little bit. I think he'd be a solid backup. Absolutely. And if he's willing to do that, I think he said he would only come back if it was like a really good opportunity. But it's like we just talked about, of course Aaron Rodgers wants to come here. It's the perfect opportunity for a quarterback. So I'm thinking if we get some meetings with these veteran guys, it wouldn't be hard to bring them in and make it happen, man. And that'd be really good for JJ, a really good opportunity to learn a lot for him. So
no, I absolutely agree. And I think that, and the thing about it is offensive line, you can cross it off. Running game's good to go. Like you talked about, the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. Tight end, I don't get me wrong, TJ Hawkinson is still that guy, but I do think that maybe
you want to trade him?
I don't want to trade him. I want to keep them in. I'm gonna. Oh no! But once we get to 24, because of what Kwesi has done this offseason, it truly can be best player available.
I think so too.
And that's the thing is like, I'm okay if the Vikings get at 24 and they want to trade down or whatever. But if they're there, and you've got Loveland from Michigan that's just sitting.
Colton Loveland. I knew you were going to say it. He's a great player.
With JJ, it's that connection, dude, where I'm just like, can you say no to that? Like, can you honestly tell me that you would not think about it, at least?
I've heard that proposed a lot. And most of the time when people say it, they say they want to trade Hawkinson.
I keep him.
I want to keep him too. I say we rotate those two guys in and out. Obviously, yeah, he played with JJ in Michigan. I think it'd be really easy for him to just seamlessly fit in, and those guys already have a connection. Same with Kenneth Grant, who I also think would be a great option for number 24. Well, maybe not 24. I'm not sure exactly on that, but
24. I'd take him at 24 in a heartbeat. Double. That's the thing is I'm a draft nerd, so taking Kenneth Grant there, I think would be a thing where he eats up.
If he's there.
Yes, if he's there. He takes up double teams. You have Harrison Phillips, who is more of a 5-tech in my opinion. Don't get me wrong. He has held down the fort as being that, two gapping or double team eating defensive tackle. But that's not his natural position. If we get an absolute just man, 360 pounds, if he's an ounce, like juicy, loosey.
Pretty sick.
Yes. Like just come like you, that takes 3 offensive linemen to block this dude. I would be so happy because then who's going to block this D line? Who?
Dude, we're done. We're done. I mean, that with Hargrave and Jonathan Allen, we're right in there, buddy.
Dude, it's nasty.
I mean, our defense is so good. Our defense is so good. We just brought in Isaiah Rodgers too.
Yes.
Eric Wilson's back. I mean, this defense is insane.
I'm like, the thing about this defense is like, I don't want to say this is like peak Zimmer years defense, because I think that those defenses were a little different, but I think they'll still be a really good defense under Flores. And I'm really happy he's back. I think it's a travesty he's not getting jobs. Like, I'm just being honest. Like,
I think so too. I'm happy. I mean, it's kind of selfish of me, but I'm like, thank God he didn't get a head coaching job, dude. He's back this year. Thank God.
Yes.
Another one we didn't talk about, I think for 24, if he's there, Nick Imamori would be super sick to pick him up.
Dude. Can you imagine him behind?
He's my number one
for a year.
It'd be insane. He's 6'3", 227. That's
DK
like Metcalf. Yeah, that's DK
Dude,
Metcalf.
That's a buffalo running at you and hitting you.
Yeah, he's a freak, but he's probably not there. He'll be gone.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see, because like I said, BPA, because that's what, if you look at what the Eagles have done for the last 3 to 5 years, it has been built through free agency or fill your major holes there, and then BPA. And it served them so well, because then they go into the draft where it's like, then the next draft after that, it's like, well, we really don't have a need. It's just, going there, getting the best player. And then they have like arguably the best defensive line in the NFL right now. I was kind of surprised. I figured we would draft a running back, but then right after that we signed Jordan Mason, and I was like, damn, we're going true BPA. Or maybe we're trying to get some of that draft capital back. Maybe we'll do some trades instead. I see a lot of people saying that too, but I think it'd just be really cool to just grab the best guy. Yeah,
just do it. We can throw him in wherever we think the best player is. I mean, we can throw him in.
I'm stoked. This is, like I said, in terms of like full off season, this is the most stoked I've been, because of that was always the one thing, Devon, was offensive line. If they get offensive line, I was like, okay, the rest of it seems pretty good. I can live with some moves, but I think Kwesi has killed it. This dude deserves to sign an extension.
Yeah, he's the best. You think about AVG, he's my favorite player right now.
Dude,
AVG's
rocks.
Jonathan Grenard, I mean, Kwesi's killing it. He's really killing it. It's kind of. I know you wanted to bring back Darnold though, didn't you?
So my thing was, if at the right price, at the right price, it's like I wasn't going 40 million for the guy.
After last season too, all the Vikings fans were like, get rid of him. I'm like, what? He gave us 14 wins, and I knew at the same time he would definitely get a bag. I mean, you saw the contract he signed with the Seahawks, bro. Good for you. Go do your thing. Thanks for everything. But I think the fact that we let him walk, and same with Daniel Jones, we let him walk. I mean, that should have been enough to squash those silly quarterback rumors. Like, we are all in on the kid. This is what we're doing. We're literally building the team around him in the offseason.
Yep.
Here's a couple more linemen,
Can you imagine more like a better scenario? And this was a big talking point last year when we were looking at who the Vikings were going to draft for that quarterback position. It's like, what situation is better than Minnesota right now? You talk about a defense, you talk about a running game, wide receivers, a good head coach, a good offensive-minded head coach that can help you develop. And now you've got an offensive line. Like, all of the boxes are check marked. He just needs to not overthink it and not mess it up.
I think so too. I think this is the most hopeful offseason we've had in a long time. It's super sweet. It's really good to be a Vikings fan right now, which doesn't happen a lot, dude.
No, it doesn't. No, it does not. All right. So we've squashed the A-Rod rumors and all that, rightfully so, because I think that is done. We are also looking at a couple of different things as far as we've got to talk about our top 5 Vikings of all time, and as well as a couple of draft crushes here. So I want to start by talking about top 5. I know this might be a hard task, and I know we've already talked about a gentleman tonight in Harry the Hitman, but your top 5 Vikings of all time, go.
I think our lists might be similar. So yeah, my number 5 is Harrison Smith. I mean, he's a dog. He's been here 14 years with the same team, taking pay cuts. He does so much for the community in Minnesota too, and he's got a lot of programs. We love Harrison Smith. He's the best. He's my number 5. Number 4, I got John Randall, probably the best defensive tackle of all time. Undrafted too, from undrafted to legend. 7 Pro Bowl selections. He might be the best in his position. He's not a super big guy, or he wasn't rather. I mean, he's still around, but he doesn't play. But he was really fast, man. He had 137.5 sacks in his career. That's insane. So that's my number 4. My number 3 was really hard. So at first I put Jay Jetta, Justin Jefferson. Obviously, he's a beast. But then I was like, nah, I can't do that. If it's of all time, we haven't even seen what he's done yet. I feel like, dude, Justin Jefferson is going to do some crazy things. So I scratched off Justin Jefferson and I put Adrian Peterson. I mean, there's no explanation. He's the best running back of all time. I was a kid watching him play. I think he's one of them, at least in that span, in that first, we'll say 5 years.
Yeah,
I mean
that I can agree with, definitely, because it's
in terms of pure talent and like raw aggression and power. I think so.
Yeah, I agree. I think
so. Not necessary accolades.
A couple of those years, if we could have him back, dude, I think that he would have broken. I think he would have broken. Not Emmitt Smith's record, but he would have broken. It's Emmitt Smith. Sorry.
Yeah, he was a crazy running back, and he was just like a hero of mine. Like that's when I really first started watching football and started paying attention. He was that guy. So he's my number 3. I didn't want to do any current really. So my number 2 is Randy Moss. I mean, he's obviously a dog, right? The attitude was so cool. Like I lived in Wisconsin when he fake pulled his pants down, and everybody around me talked about how they hated it. But I was like, I was born in Minnesota. That was sweet that he did that. His first game, he got 4 receptions, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns in your first game in the NFL. That's insane. Obviously, he broke the reception record in 2007. He's just like an electric player. And he's sweet. I love his accent too. Randy Moss is the man.
Yep.
And then number 1, my favorite Minnesota Viking of all time is the hero rodeo, Jared Allen.
Yeah.
Dude, he was my favorite. I don't know if you remember, we played football together. I played right defensive end. So he was kind of like my hero.
Yep.
It was me and Casey down there on ends. Let me see what I got here. He played 12 seasons for 4 teams. He had 5 Pro Bowl selections. He's a Hall of Famer this year, actually. It's about time.
Yep.
It's about time. Put some respect on his name. Obviously, he broke the record for the franchise record for sacks in 2011. And he was only 0.5 away from breaking Strahan's record, which is nuts.
Yep.
You're half a sack away from being the best there.
And
500, he's nuts.
Dude, that was one thing they forget is Michael Strahan got that last sack because Brett Favre slid down. That's what really upsets me. I'll let it go.
Yeah. That's funny. You see that video of the other guy like confronting Brett? I was like, ooh, that's awkward. But yeah, so 0.5 away from beating Strahan, 503 tackles. That's not right. Yeah, 503 solo tackles, 647 tackles total.
Yep.
136 sacks, 19 fumble recoveries, 31 fumbles caused, 6 interceptions, and a touchdown in his career. I mean, he was the coolest person to watch. He was talking trash. He had the attitude. He had the coolest celebration.
Yes, he did. The calf roping, bro.
So that's my number 1. He was a hero to me, Jared Allen. What's your list? What you got?
5, I got to go Chad Greenway.
Okay, he's great.
South Dakota representing. Like, I just don't like. I understand that when the grand scheme of things, especially when he got late in his career, he got a lot of tackles, but it was mainly because his guy was catching the ball, which is rough.
Right.
But,
right.
So Chad Greenway, I think it's really hard not to put him in there.
He was blowing up the line too, man. He was getting sacks. Chad Greenway was a man.
He was everywhere. And that's another thing that people forget about him is that he can actually get in there as well. And I'm actually really excited about Ivan Pace Jr. I think Ivan Pace Jr.
Oh, he's super good. I love IP0, baby.
Absolute stud. 4 for me is Harrison Smith. Like, there are 2 first-round draft picks from that year. I think it was 2009, if I'm not mistaken. We don't talk about the first one in Matt Khalil. But Harrison Smith, like, the moment he was drafted, I'll never forget it. He was in the secondary and they threw a pass. He picked it off, weaved his way through. It was like an effortless touchdown.
Yeah, it was sweet.
And I actually did some research. He was a running back in high school, so that's why he was so athletic and stuff. And so I'm just
really? That makes sense.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, this guy was an absolute stud. And so then, just from that first moment, and then you just saw him throughout his career, just lay hits on dudes, and just like the one thing, the biggest amount of respect you can look on a guy is when they just looked for him. Like, where's he at? Yep. He's going to wreck the play, And
yeah, so, he was making them turn their heads. They were scared of him.
Yes.
They call him Hitman for a reason. It's like, I don't know if I said it this time or the time before, but there is not a Viking out there that has done more for this organization than Harrison Smith.
I absolutely agree with that. So Chad Greenway, and then I got to go Harrison Smith. Number 3, this is going to be a little controversial. I will go Randy Moss here because so I understand he was during our time, but 1998 we were 2, so like we couldn't really, like don't get me wrong, we saw him in our early days a little bit back in like the early 2000s and whatever, but then we saw him absolutely torch the league with the Patriots, which I mean it is what it is.
Broke that record. That was nuts.
Yes, he was fantastic. So there's that. But then there's also it's just the impact he had on the game. I'm not sure. I really haven't kept up with him. In power, just sending prayers to him for cancer and everything. I hope he's doing well and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, just the impact he had on the game, and like you said, the kind of person he was, he's fantastic. And so I'll always love Randy Moss.
Plus, I mean that cover with Kevin Garnett, Sports Illustrated cover, icon,
generational.
Yeah, I think he's actually doing better now. The last report I heard. So yeah, that's Randy Moss, you the dog.
He is. I love Randy Moss. So then number 2, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of shooting a little bit from the hip here, but also at the same time, I got my final 3 locked down. But number 2, this is a little weird, but I'm gonna say it's actually Jim Kleinsasser. Now I know a little bit out there, a little bit.
Okay, I mean, that's just kind of crazy.
Yeah. So don't get me wrong. Jim Kleinsasser to me. Now, I wanted to put AP here at number 1. So he's my number 1. Mm-hmm. Jared Allen is also up there. Actually, no, I'm going to take that. This is what's so hard about it.
It's hard, right, dude? I almost had Chad Greenway on my list too. Dante Culpepper, I wanted to put him on there, but.
Dude, everything you said about AP was literally the reason. I can tell you how many rushing yards he had in his rookie year.
I'm going to get that jersey I sent you, the signed stat jersey.
That's crazy, dude. That's flipping sweet.
It's gonna go right there on the wall.
Yeah, dude. I told my wife that too, and I'm like, so how much we got in the budget? She's like, right. No. I'm like, come on, like,
only like $200, dude. It's not that much.
No, it's not bad. And so I'm like, all right, I definitely gotta reminisce with you. It's gotta be Jared Allen and then AP at 2 and 1 because like Jared Allen, every time I got a sack in college, I would always do I didn't get many, but I would do the calf roping thing because I mean it was just you don't get any more impactful than him. When you talk about like he wreaked havoc, he made Dan Orlovsky run out of the back of the end zone.
Yeah, he's scary, bro. You see that bicep with the tattoos on it, bro?
Yes, dude.
He's just a country boy.
Absolute stud. And I think the one thing too, I remember that Donald Penn game when they were playing the Buccaneers where he got punched in the face by Donald Penn and the next play he comes back and gets a sack. I'm just like,
that's right. I forgot about that.
Oh, dude, the roof came off that place. And so,
bro, he had an offensive lineman just hanging on his coattails, just crying for their mommies, bro.
Oh, dude,
he was the man. Kleinsasser, he was good. It was a little bit before my time, but I mean, I see everything that he did. I've seen the tapes. I mean, he was a really good player.
No, I Jim Kleinsasser. He's an absolute stud. Number 1 is AP because for me, AP, and this one is sensitive to me for Adrian Peterson because when you talk about a guy that he completely just revamped that offense. I mean, we already had Chester Taylor, and then Rick Spielman's just like, now we're going to go get a future Hall of Famer, and it's like, okay, that makes sense. He just completely made my childhood. Like he's the only reason I watched the Vikings. And
I mean, he was the only player that really gave us hope. I mean, for a long time there, he was like the only kind of good player on the team. If we're being honest, like it was.
He was it, dude.
It was like, yeah, we suck, but look at this shiny toy we got over here, Adrian Peterson. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's exactly right. Well, then that 2009 year, it was like, okay, we got Brett Favre, we got Sidney Rice, Percy Harvin. It was like our offensive line was actually not bad. And our defense, I'm not going to lie, our defense played above its skis the entire season. So, but it was AP. That was actually, people don't know this or don't remember this. I believe that was his best year touchdown-wise. He had 18 touchdowns that year, but he only had like 13 or 1,400 rushing yards. And that's how like our warped minds are, is that, man, he only had 13 or 1,400 rushing yards. It's like, dude, for any other running back, that was a fantastic year. Seriously. But for AP, that was a down year. Yeah, and so there's that year. And then also we do the same thing with Justin Jefferson now. Like we almost forget, like, okay, you had 100 catches for 1,500 yards, man. Like what is this?
Do you not realize that like every defensive back out there in the world has their eyes glued on him the entire time? You know what I mean? Like,
everybody does.
Everybody does. So that's why JA had such a great year, man.
Yep.
Free three, baby. He
Free
definitely got
three.
freed.
Finally got his love.
He definitely got freed, bro. He had a great first season, or not first season, but he had a great season last year.
I agree. I think he's going to be. I'm a little bummed that he might be suspended this year. I'm hoping that it is what it is. Get it out of
I
the
think it's only
way.
like 2 games, right?
I think 2 or 3. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Okay, but we got Rondell Moore.
Yeah,
We just brought
I'm
him
actually
in.
really excited about Rondell Moore. Like a
He
low
should
key,
be sick.
Jalen Naylor is very underrated in my mind. Like he
Mhm.
just doesn't get the love he deserves.
I agree. Speedy's the man, but they play so differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rondell's kind of in the slot, and then Speedy's going full out.
Yep.
He's going for the end zone. He's doing kinds of crazy deeper routes. So I feel like we can play those two in tandem in a way that would be really effective.
And we got Hawk that can just play the middle and just kind of go for there. That's my one gripe about Hawk is it just seems like every time he catches it, he gets tackled. I'm just like, dude, give me a move.
He's the man though, dude. I'm so excited to watch him play more. I feel like when he finally came back this last season, every catch he got, I was like, yeah, TJ. I love TJ though. He's the man.
Yes, I like.
He looks like a Viking. He's like our
he
logo.
does. He is the logo. He
He's
deserves to be like the real life version of the Viking. I just got to say it, but
Sure.
no, I think top 5 Vikings. I tried to throw Jim Kleinzauser in there on my dad. My dad tried to kind of instill that in me because I love Jim Kleinzauser, but it's just not enough. But one little quick thing here: top 3 draft crushes. Who you got?
So we talked about Nick and MORE, Edmund Ward, if he's still there, for number 1. And then for number 2, I got Kenneth Grant if he's there. And then for number 3, I got Gray Zabel from NDSU.
Yes.
Good OT. He's really versatile. We could probably switch him, do like a plug and play situation where he plays guard, kind of do whatever we need him to do. But yeah, it just kind of depends on who's there. I think we've got kind of all of our like dire needs covered before the draft, which is not a bad thing to do.
Yep. I agree. For me, it's Kenneth Grant. I mean, the nice thing about this defensive tackle class is there's so many of them. I can argue that there's probably anywhere from 3 to 5 defensive tackles that I would be just fine with getting. Whether it's Graham or Grant, both out of Michigan. I'm excited about those two. But it's just, this is such a stack. Even Devon Wagner coming up out of Kentucky. I mean, dude's 6'7", 350. Yeah. Like, I love this defensive tackle class, and I think it's about time we reestablish the Williams wall. That's another one in our top 5. I'm just saying. But I think that we got to get that defensive tackle that I absolutely love out of this class. I love all of them. I love all of them that are 350 and can take up double teams. That's it. But then, so then after that, my next one is actually, it's going to be kind of a guy that might shock a lot of people. So Jonas Savait-Unaya, he's listed as a tackle right now, according to PFF, but I project him moving into guard, where the dude is like 6'6", 340, but he's got surprisingly athletic feet. He's a left tackle for Arizona for a little while, but if you watch his tape, he's got fantastic footwork and hand placement, and I think that combine that with how he'll play guard. He's got a little bit shorter arms than I thought, so I think that'll help him out if he was to bump into guard, and he could immediately plug in and play at left guard and be a starter, or at least compete with Reisner or Blake Brandel or whoever potentially.
I think that's something huge. If we can bring in a guy just to make our offensive line that much stronger, it cannot be a bad thing.
No.
And I feel like a guy like him, like a guy like Gray, like I said, they might be there at 24 too. So
yes, I think that's going to be a lot of fun this year. And then really, this one is going to be kind of I don't want to say controversial, but I'm not saying, when I say draft crush, I'm just talking about not necessarily something the Vikings need to draft, but just as I'm watching eyeball test of him, J-Mac coming up out of Arizona as well. Like, the Vikings don't need a receiver. I mean, you have Justin Jefferson, you have Jordan Addison, but when you talk about, he's Mike Evans 2.0. I've been saying this all offseason, where if you can get a guy that just, you throw it up and just say, go get it, that is his game. And
that'd be sweet. Any weapon for JJ is a good thing.
Yes. And JJ, like, again, it's a nice problem to have that we're absolutely stacked at wide receiver, but I just think it kind of comes back to the fact that, you do have that in the back of your mind, that Jordan Addison for a 1 and getting that senior. No, I'm just kidding. But
overall, I've seen people talk about that one too. But it's like, you bring a guy like that in, he doesn't have to play a lot right away too. You know what I mean? It's kind of a blessing to sit behind guys like this, dude. The best duo in the league. You got Speedy, who's been learning under those guys for a year. I mean, there's so much for you to learn. Yeah.
One of my other things too is Will Johnson, the corner coming up out of Michigan. Like I just have to make him as an honorable mention. You can definitely have an honorable mention as well. I just feel like, yes, the Vikings addressed the cornerback position. I'm really happy to have Byron Murphy back. I think he's going to be fantastic. Also, the corner they got from the Eagles, I think, could do some things as well. And then, yes, they are getting back the corner that went down with an ACL last year, Mekhi Blackman, who is going to be really good as well. But I have a feeling that it's never a bad thing to have corners, like a surplus of corners.
Coming back from an injury like that too, I mean,
yes,
it's better to take it slow. But I think they got a lot of faith in him. I mean,
yeah, I do too. I mean, 6'2", 6'3", can run like a deer. I think he's going to be able to be that bump and run type corner that Brian Flores has wanted for a little while. Like we just got old. Like Stephon Gilmore, dude, your ankles are gone, bro.
It's true. I'm gonna miss Cameron Bynum though.
I'll miss Cam Beasley. Bynum will be tough. That's the one out of all of them that I was just like, okay, that one hits me right in the heart.
I knew we were gonna lose either him or Byron Murphy. It kind of sucks, but you can go get your money, man. Make your money.
It's fair. Yeah, I mean, it's just the business, and so you just kind of deal with it and go from there. But no, I'm excited about this season. I think that there is still a lot left to cover, a lot of mock drafts, and everybody's going to come out with their bold take or whatever. Give me one move.
They're just going to say we suck like they do every year. I mean, to be honest, look what they said last year. I mean, I feel like we're going to come out and knock some heads this year. People are going to be really surprised. All this talk about JJ only handing the ball off. I think these guys are going to feel pretty dumb when they see this kid play for a couple games. I really do.
I'm very excited. One last thing. Give me one move you want to see the Vikings make before the draft, if any. I'll let you, and if you don't want, I have at least one.
I think the last thing we got to do is sign a backup quarterback, a good one that makes sense. You and I talked about Tannehill and we talked about Flacco. I think I prefer Flacco over Tannehill just because I think he's a little bit better. Obviously, he got a Super Bowl too, right?
Yep.
That counts for something for sure. So should be sweet. I think we've had talks with both of them, but it'll just kind of, be the semantics to see who it's going to be. But I think either of those choices are great for JJ. They can show him a lot. And I think they're both probably down to step into that role as QB2 and not get too kind of ego tripped on it. So
I agree. I think I'll let you have the backup quarterback move one. I think one other move I would like to see the Vikings have is I would like him to sign a starting left guard now, or like trade or make a move or do something, just because like I understand that it really is on paper like this offensive line is vastly improved. I mean, anytime Garrett Bradbury is out of the building now, again, nothing but love for Garrett Bradbury. Thank you. It's been fun. It's been real. Hasn't been real fun. Ed Ingram, I have never in my life seen a guard that can make you have a forced fumble on multiple occasions. How do you step on feet? How?
We got the comp pick for it. That's all that matters.
Exactly.
Have fun, Texans.
I know. I'm like, are you trying to get CJ Stroud killed?
Yeah, he's going to wreck his ankles. He's going to break his ankles.
Yes. So I would just honestly really like to see a left guard or a play for a kid that maybe bring back Dalton Reisner. I don't know. I don't want Blake Brandel going into camp thinking he's the number one guy, or at least even just heading into the draft. I want there to be kind of clearly there's going to be a competition. Yeah. But I want there to be an understanding that this is a completely new offensive line on the interior. You've got Darisaw at the left tackle. You're not worried about it. Brian O'Neill's coming off an all-pro season, and you got your three new guys in the middle. It needs to be a new chapter in Minnesota Vikings football.
I think so too. I've got a lot of hope for this, man. We've got a lot of big dogs up front on both lines, offensive and defensive. I mean, we really couldn't do much, besides a little bit of help on the outside, but our defense is stacked. We're killing it. So yeah, man, it's a great year to be a Vikings fan. Got a lot of hope. Can't wait to prove the haters wrong. Really.
Yep, me too. Yeah, I'm hoping this doesn't come back to bite us back in like week 6 or week 7.
Well, we just won't talk about it. Maybe delete the VOD.
I'm okay with that. But no, Devon, I really appreciate you coming on for this first one. We'll definitely have you on for more. Come on and talk about Vikings football because we need, we got to keep you guys updated on all the moves and everything going on with the Vikings. I think next one we could potentially look at doing one is kind of grading the offseason and kind of taking a deeper dive into the contracts that maybe not a lot of people will, just because I think that a lot of the stuff can be misleading. So, but no, Devon, I wanted to say thank you so much for coming on and everything.
Oh, bro, it was a lot of fun. I'm down to do this anytime you want. Maybe if you want to get together and talk about the draft after it happens or during it. Whatever you want to do, bro. I'm down to come back. This is a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Devon. We'll go ahead and see you guys on the next episode. And thank you guys so much for joining.